It is officially the 1st of June, meaning that the amazing Readathon has begun and it's time to grab our first book. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new, I'm Leandra the TBR0 and I'm very lucky to be a co-host for the Lore Keepers in the Amazing Readathon. This is an annual readathon every June that is inspired by the Amazing Race, and it is hosted by Bree from Four Paws in a Book. If you're interested in joining, there is still time, so I will have all of the information linked below. And if you're not a competitive person, there is a non-competitive team this year, so definitely check it out either way. The plan is to vlog weekly, and those videos will be going live every single Monday, so if you're interested in following my journey throughout the Amazing Readathon, make sure that you are not only subscribed, but ring that little bell that notifies you every time a video goes live. Now that the housekeeping is out of the way, welcome to week 1. We already know the first leg, the first fictional location that we're trying to get to, and that is the Emerald City. But in order to get to this destination, you have to read a book with a green cover, and I've got the perfect book selected. Direct Descendant by Tanya Huff. This is a cozy horror fantasy with a sapphic romance, meaning I'm going to get a bonus for the LGBT plus representation within its pages, and it just seems like a really great palette cleanser to start off the month of June, especially when I'm expecting to have a really high number of books finished. At least I'm crossing my fingers to do that. And come on, this cover just really grabs you. Even though I tend to be hit or miss with the cozy category, I do think that this is going to be up my alley. We'll see what happens. My hope is to get 50% of the way on June 1st, this first day of the readathon, which I know is asking a lot of me, but I just have such a busy week and I have so many errands to run. I've got the audiobook for this one, so it really doesn't seem that implausible. We'll just see what actually happens. Whether you're participating in this readathon or not, whether you're a lore keeper or not, thanks for joining me. And yeah, let's see if I can find a few books I can recommend to you throughout this process. Happy reading, everybody, or happy watching, I should say. It is Monday morning and my voice is not as it should be. I ended up staying up way too late last night chatting with a friend when I should have been reading my book for Emerald City, but here we are. It was great to catch up with this friend, but oh my goodness, am I tired, and so is my voice. So we're gonna do our best for this update. So I am just under 50% for Direct Descendant, and I'm really enjoying my time. It's feeling like a 4-star range book at the moment because the quirky humor is really hitting for me, even though it's over the top, and the sapphic romance is just getting started, if we're gonna be honest. Like, our two romantic leads have finally met each other. We had Cassie just fawning over the distant stranger every time she gets a glimpse of her, and now they're finally meeting and chatting for the first time. So we will see how that goes and if it starts to grate on me, just because romance, a little dab will do ya, especially when it comes to any type of book that I'm reading. But I do like the two characters. I like Melanie, I like Cassie, I like what they represent. The POVs are a little bit imbalanced. We mostly are in Cassie's head, and once in a while we'll get in the head of Melanie, but I kind of understand why. We'll see if it shifts. Maybe the more we get to know Melanie and the more she actually understands the town that she's entered, we'll get more of her perspective. So what has happened so far is that Cassie lives in this small Canadian town that is ruled by the dark force. There are also dark, creepy, sinister monsters all around the town, different rituals and rules that a local would know, and they basically follow them to survive. For instance, this one character ends up dying. She's taken by the shadows, and everyone's like, well, she did have her window cracked open. It was just a centimeter, but that's all it takes. She should know better. And I'm just like, what are we talking about? And there's a monster named Alice in the lake that they are terrified to talk to, but at the same time, she has really helped out the town in the past. It's thanks to her that they discovered there were 2 Gales walking around, and now they still kind of think, I hope that we threw the right Gale back into the river or back into the lake. Well, the family's happy with the Gale they have, so I guess it's none of our business. And I'm just thinking, this town is amazing and how terrifying it is and how casual that type of horror is. I think I realized that I like the quirkiness to the idea of characters who just are completely unfazed by the horror that surrounds them. There are 2 books that I have in mind that kind of relate to this category. We have The September House by Carissa Orlando, and then I also read Welcome to Night Vale. Both of those have characters who just have accepted the world they live in. And if that world includes monsters, a haunted house, a really strange town, yeah, so be it. At the beginning of this book, the big event is that we had this tourist basically sacrifice himself to the dark force, and everyone is up in arms. He shouldn't have been able to do this because of the various policies and like guards that they have to prevent someone from doing that. But oh well, it is what it is. He sacrifices himself, and now they're just kind of waiting to see what happens next. Meanwhile, we have the other POV, Melanie, and she has been hired. She's a private investigator. Well, this is her first case. She was a teacher, and then because of the way the world is and the educational system is, of course, she is feeling burnt out and as if there's no point in being a teacher anymore. So she's changing careers. She's been hired by the sacrificer, sacrifice-e. He sacrificed himself, so I don't really know what term we should call him. His name is Travis. So basically Travis, his grandmother, hires Melanie to figure out what happened to him because he disappeared when he went to this small town, and of course the town covered it up because they don't want people to know that there are monsters and demons and a dark force just living among them. So they hush it up, but the grandmother is determined. She hires Melanie. Melanie goes to this town, and she has yet to really understand what she stumbled into. And it's hilarious to see from her perspective because we know that most of the things she's interacting with are either possessed, demonic dogs. Like she 100% interacted with a hellhound when she was walking past the cemetery, and her mind is just like, yeah, this dog is ugly and also probably has been traumatized by humans, so we shouldn't be judging him. And every time she talks to people in town and they're like, you met a dog at the cemetery? She usually doesn't like people. Weird. And it's just really funny for them to be like, who is this woman and why is she surviving our town? Because most tourists do not live this long. So I'm excited to see where this goes in the future, how Melanie interacts with Cassie, especially because Cassie is just in love with her. She is obsessed with Melanie already. And I don't know how Cassie's going to feel when she discovers why Melanie is even in town, because Cassie was part of the effort to cover up the disappearance of this man. We'll see if the book sticks its landing, because I have seen in the past a very fun, quirky palette cleanser losing steam by the second half of the book. I also have been pretty proud of myself as far as getting other things done. I organized my apartment, I started a puzzle, I also ended up getting done the yellow brick road block that we were given during this first leg, obviously on our way to Emerald City. It's definitely on theme, and so I feel as though I'm doing a pretty good job with my life balance, my reading balance, the readathon balance, so I can keep participating in everything. But yeah, for now, I want to go for a walk so I can enjoy the morning before I start my job today. So yeah, I'll let you all know once I finish this book and finally arrive to Emerald City. Happy day 3 of the amazing readathon. I'm officially in Oz, or should we say the Emerald City, because I finished Direct Descendant last night. It was honestly the best way to start June off. It's a palate cleanser, cozy horror without being too unsettling. It's not going to keep you up at night. It's simply a great way to add texture to the narrative with the Kraken in the lake, the Bigfoot that's in the woods, the shadows, the hellhounds that you'll be interacting with as you read this narrative. And I just had a really good time. I wasn't as bothered as I was worried about regarding the insta-love between our two main characters, Cassie and Melanie. I felt as though it was pretty true to form as their characters went, specifically their personalities, what they were looking for in life. So I kind of just accepted it, even though it's not that realistic, if we're going to be honest. On top of the fact that the obstacles really provided very little resistance. It was kind of just there for a good time, not for a long time in your brain. Sure, let's let every convenience happen. I didn't really care. It probably would bother me any other day, any other month, but for some reason it was perfect time, perfect place. And I really enjoyed the setting, specifically the characters, and I loved the quirkiness of it. I think this is an area of horror that I need to look into more because, yeah, I've already mentioned the titles that I love as well that kind of have this similar tone, even though all three, I would argue, would attract different readers, weirdly enough. Like, I wouldn't say, oh, if you like The September House, read this book, or oh, if you liked Welcome to Night Vale, read this book, and vice versa. I would not think of that, but they all do have this kind of weird humor surrounding horror elements and kind of poking fun at something that's supposed to terrify you. And I think it's because there are characters who are just like this is normal. Why should I be afraid of something that I have to just get used to every single day of my life? And it would be different if you're entering the scenario and all of this is new to you. Of course, you'd be terrified. So yeah, that's something that I might have to put a pin in. But for now, I'm just kind of hanging out and waiting until the next prompt drops. I am currently working on a sightseeing book that is for actually Battle of the Booktuber, so you're not going to be able to hear my thoughts on it. I should finish it today because I've been slowly working on it in June, and yeah, I don't see myself really being derailed today because I don't have anything to do. Tuesdays are my day off. I typically would sprint, but now with the amazing readathon, I'm not doing that. And I also don't have T-Rex Tuesdays tonight either, which is something I do with Rainey because we've been reading Jurassic Park and The Lost World, and every Tuesday we'll have our Patreons watch the movies together, and the next movie we actually are going to start on is Jurassic World, so that should be super fun, but that's not until next week, so I have a free night. I'm just trying to catch up on other things, and really this Battle of the Booktuber book should have been finished way long ago. I was kind of procrastinating a little bit until May, and now this is my final book. And I'm so excited about it because, gosh, it's been a long haul. And yeah, keep an eye out for that in July. But for now, I'm just kind of hanging out, and I'll let you all know as soon as I know what the next prompt is going to be and what book I'm going to be reading for it. It is 5 o'clock on Wednesday, and I have not done nearly as much reading as I should have done today. I've been busy doing work, checking in on the Discord, and the one thing that I have not mentioned yet is that last night we ended up leaving Oz and we arrived in Basgiath War College. This is associated with Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. And then a third person died because one of them fell on her. She is feeling all of this regret. She voms everywhere. Fool me once, fool me twice. What are we doing here? And the prompt that we now have to read for this is violent word in the title. And this one is going to be a doozy for me. It might end up being my biggest book of the entire competition because it is 475 pages. For me, that's pretty chonky. I don't read chonky books very often, but I was just too tempted by this title, and it is Kitty Cat Kill Sat by Argus. The audiobook is like 19 or 20 hours long. I have the ebook as well. And according to the ebook, I am 18. No, I'm not. I'm 12% into this book. So I have so much to go. I definitely have more time tomorrow to read. So I'm not really stressing out. And in about an hour and a half, I have sprints with Krista. She's one of the co-hosts for the Pathfinders. I probably can't be on with her for too long because I also have a recording session tonight with Danny Dabbles for our podcast, Not Reading for Content. I swear, I'm just too busy this week. I am too busy. So what I want to do is actually put the ebook down, listen to the audiobook instead of immersion reading just for a little bit of time because I want to go do a walk while it's gotten a little bit cooler. It's so hot today. I think the high is 29 degrees Celsius, 84 Fahrenheit. So like, doesn't matter what type of temperature reading you use. It's hot outside, but I do want to move my body. So I'm going to go do that while listening to Kitty Cat Kill Sat. And I can't wait. I'm enjoying this book so much. I thought it was going to be a humorous romp, a space opera, space adventure, because basically the main character is a cat named Lily, and she is the sole owner, captain of this space station that is orbiting Earth, and the cat has also lived for 400 years, by the way. Like, she is an old cat. She is an old soul. And it's so funny. I really love the elements of sci-fi we're getting, the tech, but also the breaks in humor. And on top of that, it's really heart-wrenching. I wasn't expecting this. I thought it was just going to be a really fun time, and it is. But my heartstrings have already been pulled for this cat. All she wants is a friend. And in these first 12%, she has actually made contact with an AI being in Earth, like on Earth's surface, and the AI being is also very sad and very lonely, and Lily is like, I found a friend, and so I'm just rooting for the two of them, and I don't know where this narrative is going, but I wasn't expecting to get a little bit emotional while also finding this to be hilarious. So yeah, hopefully I can make more progress tonight, and then I can give you a better update tomorrow, a little bit more of a confident update tomorrow, because I am worried I'm going to fall behind on this leg, and that's the last thing I want to do. So I'm going to take you on a walk with me. We're going to go to Krista's sprints, and then we'll see what else we get up to. So yeah, wish me luck on this book, and I hope it doesn't make me cry, but it probably will. It is Thursday, day 5 of this readathon. I'm currently on sprints with Brittany Loves Reading and covers with Cassidy. I'm hanging out with the Illusionists. I'm even wearing their team colors. I don't know if I am subconsciously trying to forge an alliance with them, even though I know that's not going to happen because our team screwed over Brittany last year with sci-fi. She and I thought we had an alliance. It was our fault for not telling anyone else that this was the case, and I'm sorry. I'm still so sorry, Team Sci-Fi. I will take the blame for that one. But anyways, it's new teams, new year, and I now need to provide an update for Kitty Cat Kill Sat. I'm about 50% of the way, so I'm halfway through this book. That means I'm obviously not anywhere near Bisgayeth yet. I'm kind of in between the portals. I've got 1 foot in Oz, 1 foot in Bisgayeth, and I feel pretty confident that I could reach it tomorrow on Friday. We'll just see how busy my day goes, but I love this. I love this book so much. I am so enamored with our main character, her perspective. Lily Ad Alice is my favorite character of all time, I think. I love how sassy and satirical she is. She's sarcastic, but she's also so serious and has so much on her shoulders. She feels as though it is her responsibility to save the human race that is on Earth, even though we know that it's the humans' fault for what they currently are reaping on Earth. Climate change is in full force. The toxins that are in the air, but also in the water, in the food, in the ground, the flora and fauna have mutated, and AI is everywhere, basically trying to destroy the humans because they have been programmed to do that from wars that may have been decades or centuries in the past, and their programming was never changed. It is actually kind of wild how complex this space opera is, even though I would also argue that it's cozy, that it's very much character driven more than it is plot driven. And I feel for Lily every single day. She is doing her best. She is such a good cat, and I just want to give her all the scritches, all the belly rubs, all the sunbeams that she absolutely adores, especially because, as I think I said in the last update, she has been so lonely.
She has had the weight of this world on her shoulders for way too long by herself. And I also misspoke, or at least I didn't fully understand her connection with the AI that is called Glitter, by the way. Such a sweet nickname from our girl Lily. And this was an orbiting kind of soldier who was originally a part of some war and now was just kind of like hanging out, facing the moon as well. So I don't know fully where that was going, but she ends up helping Glitter unshackle her bonds. And now she's got a best friend AI. There's also another AI named Enos that we meet. And I love how separate all of their personalities are. We have our chaotic girl, our cat, Lily. She's just doing her best, and I love how she just takes everything in stride. Meanwhile, Enos, the kind of AI character that she's taken on almost as her child, she says that she's not been a very good parent because she keeps ignoring Enos while Enos is freaking out about everything, specifically the fact that they all believe that the ship is haunted. That there is something in the programming in the various rooms whenever they're about to enter that they've just missed something. And I love the reference to ghosts in this very clearly sci-fi setting because all of them are terrified and also kind of avoiding the ghost in the room. I have my theories as to what this ghost could be, but we'll put a pin in that. And there are plot points, there are many conflicts, many obstacles that Lily and her new friends, her newfound family, have to actually kind of overcome. And it seems as though they're just building a family in space. There's been a mention of a dog, in fact. So for those who are dog lovers, there could be a dog character that's coming up, but that is also something that's a bit of an aside because there are certain things in the way before we can be introduced to this character is what I'll say. And yeah, my heart goes out to Lily. She is so funny. She is so smart, and she is just such an active creature, but she also is still dealing with grief, the loss of her mother, and this is her human, the person who adopted her on the space station originally. And you can just tell that this person, Alice, which is why Lily's name is Lily Ad Alice, that Alice is her mother, is still with her every single day. And I love all of these characters so much. And I love how the AI are clearly humans in the idea that they've got personalities, they've got wants, they've got needs, and they care for Lily as much as she cares for them. And because she's so quirky, there are so many oddities to her in addition to the fact that she is talking out loud all the time. She doesn't realize that she speaks her thoughts, and the AIs are just like, do you realize that you're doing this? And so when she's saying things out loud in frustration, or even saying things endearingly, being like, oh my gosh, I love Enos and Glitter, I just want to do everything for them, these AI characters are just like, this is such a sweetheart character, like this cat is so sweet and clearly loves us, and they just accept that she is like talking aloud. And they originally tried to tell her, hey, do you realize that you're talking to us when you're thinking? But they've kind of given up. So now once in a while, she'll ask a question like in her head, and one of the AI will answer, and the narrative will say, and then they said this aloud for some reason. I don't know why, because she has no idea that she's saying her thoughts aloud. It is so endearing. I am laughing while also tearing up a few times. I'm so invested, and I don't really know where this entire narrative is going. We've got 50% more to go, and I don't really care. And that's why I'm emphasizing that this is, at the end of the day, cozy, in the same idea that Mickey 7 and Service Model are. I think that the narrative voice actually mirrors those two books put together quite well. It leans a bit more Service Model, but I think it has the action that Mickey 7 does, the kind of dark humor at times. So yeah, those are the two books that I have, best been able to kind of compare, and I'm obsessed. I love this book so much. I'm 100% predicting 5 stars. If it's not that, I don't know what has happened because I can't see it changing. But anyways, I am sure that the sprint is about to end, so I'm gonna end it here. But yeah, good times ahead. We had the detour. It was super fun to be with the lore keepers as we were cheering each other on and doing that task. And now obviously we're all refocusing our attention to Bisgayeth, and I'm crossing my fingers that tomorrow when I update you, I'll have arrived at the War College of Dragons. So yeah, I'll see you guys when that happens. Friday. It is officially the weekend and we received our third leg. We are moving beyond Bisgayeth War College and now we are trying to reach Panem, capital city, which is of course coming from the Hunger Games trilogy. I am so excited because this one is the over-the-top cover and I had the perfect book planned. However, I'm getting ahead of myself because the question is, have I even reached Bisgayeth yet? Yes, but I arrived late. And so now I'm playing a bit of catch up. Everyone else is ahead of me because I'm sure that they are well into their Panem books. I'm a few hours behind, not that far, but honestly, it always feels as though we need to like pick up and go to the next city ASAP just to keep up with the hype. So I need to remind myself that it's okay. Like, this is all for fun. You're never really behind. You're just reading at your own pace. And to ask people to read 10 books in 1 month, and at this point, 2-3 books in a week, we expect life to get in the way. So don't worry. Let me be one of the examples that if you aren't in the current leg, wherever we are by the time that I have this posted, it's okay, friends. It's gonna be okay. And like I said, I did end up eventually reaching Bisgayeth with Kitty Cat Kill Sat, and you may have noticed in the B-roll that I did cry. It did make me cry in the final chapter too. I mean, at this point, I was tearing up 2 or 3 times already in this massive space opera narrative, and I don't regret a thing. 5 stars. I absolutely love this narrative. I'm so happy that I own the audiobook so I can return to these characters, return to Lily, her found family whenever I want. And yeah, it was totally worth it. This was so good. I cannot express enough how pleasantly surprised I am. I went in with it just being for fun, kind of poking fun at the title, not thinking it would want me to take it seriously, and boy oh boy was I wrong. You definitely need to take this book seriously. It is cozy, but it's also a grief narrative, and it's also an impactful journey for this little kitty. I won't say anymore because honestly I don't want to tear up anymore, but it was just so good. And so yeah, 5 stars, highly recommend, especially for those who are interested in getting into sci-fi and just want some really cuddly, beautiful characters to follow along the way. I don't think you could go wrong with this title. Now, the natural next question is, Leandra, how am I going to reach Panem? Well, the prompt that we have to fulfill is over the top cover, and that's super subjective. Every single reader is going to interpret it differently, which is why I love it. And the book I originally chose for this specific leg was going to be Hamajang Luck, but I don't think I'm actually gonna read it, even though it's perfect in my opinion. I think the bright colors, the layout make it very overdramatic in the best way, and the premise just sounds really good. It's dystopian, cyberpunk, queer, set in Hawaii. I am just so fascinated by this title, and you know when you look at a title and you're just like, I think this is going to be a 5 star. Like, I think I'm going to be obsessed with this. Even though we're not supposed to judge books by their cover, I'm judging it in a positive way, so maybe that's okay. But unfortunately, I think I'm going to have to replace it, maybe use one of my power-ups, because I just don't have time to read this book right now. It's not because it's long, because it really isn't that long. I think it's maybe about 300, 350 pages, but I have other books that I absolutely need to read by the beginning or the end of next week, specifically The Feast by Margaret Kennedy. This is for my job. I work for a podcast and we are recording for this book next week. So I need to read this by Monday. At least I should finish this by Monday. And so I think it's the perfect weekend read. I don't think that it's dramatic enough for it to be an over-the-top cover. So that's why I'm saying I'm probably going to have to use one of my power-ups, which is totally fine because I kind of forgot about them. I didn't plan on using them, specifically the ones that let you basically skip a prompt, but this has been my saving grace. So thank you, Brie. I really appreciate it. And this is another reminder, friends, use the power-ups. They're there to help you and just push you forward in this competition. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do for this one. And with that decision made, this is where I'm gonna leave you with my week 1 vlog. Thank you all for getting to the end. I really do appreciate you. And I am excited to see if this is another new favorite because Kitty Cat Kill Sat was brilliant. Even though this has been a crazy first week for the amazing Readathon, this Readathon has made me cry. I've also fallen behind, so I have no idea what's in store for me next week, but cross your fingers for me. And in honor of the feast, how about you give me some food emojis in the comments? Why not? And also, for those who are still here, I have a little bit of a clue for you from Brie Loki herself. Brie told me that the Lore Keepers are 23 points behind the team ahead of us right now. Whatever that means, feel free to interpret it however you'd like. Thank you all so much for being here. Be sure to check out Brie and the other co-hosts because they are lovely, whether you're participating in this readathon or not. And I hope to see you all in the next week's vlog and also just other videos on my channel, reading sprints, you know, all that stuff. Okay, thank you everyone. Bye.